What's up, guys? So I'm gonna be doing a second impressions on the manga Claymore. Now, I did a first impressions video on this manga after reading just the first chapter, and since then I've been reading it on and off, and I believe it was somewhere around chapter 20 to 30 where I just started reading, and this was last night, and I could not put it down. And so now I'm way into it. I'm in let me look it up real quick. Chapter 56, and it is insane. Like, sure, you get those occasional lulls in the manga where it's kind of boring, but so far those lulls haven't been that long. It's always something new that spices it up. Granted though, again, Claymore, there's some freaky, disfigured, screwed up monsters, or whatever you call those creatures, when they awaken, you could say. And that sort of is very screwed up and weird, and it's kind of disgusting and amazing at the same time how the human mind can have such imagination and create these sort of screwed up creatures that are somewhat they're human-like, which makes it even more screwed up. So I don't know whether to applaud or be sick of the manga writer for doing something like that, but it's very interesting. However, in the last 30 chapters, this is why I mean, again, this whole manga just justifies me for trashing Fairy Tail so much in my Fairy Tail reviews. It still, I mean, I can see why people like Fairy Tail, but this is a manga that I really can applaud, because there's always something that surprises the reader and just makes it's just like you didn't expect that to happen. And then on top of that, it's like, what exactly can the author do next? And someone does it. Someone, well, the author, he just does something that you don't expect, and it's crazy, it's awesome, it's outrageous, it's like a plot twister in a way. And again, spoiler alert, I'm just gonna list a few, but there's so many. There's that point when, you know, someone you think's dead is still alive and he's revealed. And then there's this thing with Isley and Priscilla, where they run into that boy, and they just seem like regular people, and it's just like, oh, her name's Priscilla, I'm Isley, and it's like you just casually ran into the most strongest people in the universe as of yet. I mean, probably it's well established that from here on out, most likely these two are so ridiculously strong, and yet they just he just casually runs into them, and they're just talking and stuff. It's ridiculous, and they're just normal people. And I don't even know what to say, because it's astoundingly crazy. There's so many other stuff, like that time when she already has only one arm, and then the second arm gets chopped. She voluntarily chops it off and gives it to Claire to use. That was just astounding. A lot of other stuff that's just crazy, but you get the point. I don't want to list them all because you've read them all. Finally, again, I mean, there's always things I think of that I could add on to and improve with my imagination when I'm doing these sort of things. Like, I'm thinking, like, wouldn't it be cool if you introduced some sort of character into this who was just super powerful, almost unstoppable, omnipotent in a way, like all powerful, but he was just casual and he never fought, and whenever someone fought him, he'd be like, I don't want to fight, and he'd always like somehow evade that person without fighting, which pretty much gave away that guy's strength. And so it was just like, wow, that's crazy, this guy's so freaking amazing. And just to introduce someone like that into this manga, so I don't know, it's just every now and then I think of creative stuff that I can add into the manga while I'm reading it just naturally. crazy stuff. The latest chapter again crazy with Izlee and Priscilla. A lot of crazy stuff where you think the person's dead, like that point where I forgot her first name, but of her full title is Of the Faint Smile. Anyhow, when she was about to be executed and she just, you know, wounds all of them, that was another like shocker to me. So very much like this manga so far. Again, there are some lulls in the manga where it gets slightly boring, but definitely not as much as Fairy Tail in my opinion. That's all I really want to say, long story short. I mean, I had all these things while I was reading it, but when I'm actually recording it, like that's pretty much the gist of it. It's crazy stuff. I'm going to get through it. Through this, I got through like 50 chapters last night. Couldn't get to sleep because of it. It pretty much kept me up all night. Crazy stuff, crazy stuff. Ridiculous and kind of disturbing in certain ways. Oh yes, the final thing I want to say is it's kind of peculiar because there's obviously certain awakened ones that are bad or just naturally evil, and there are a few claymores who are pretty much like this as well. But again, as we've seen with Izlee, Priscilla, and a few others, that they're not all bad. Like some of them just eat and sleep every day. Like they don't want to do anything, they just want to survive like humans. In fact, in certain ways humans are somewhat worse. You know, they're casting aside the claymores who help them. They're slaughtering these pigs and sheep like they're nothing. And it was pretty much stated in that interaction, that confrontation with the awakened one. I forgot what her name was. The awakened one of the East. She pretty much explained what I was just saying, like how she just ate and slept all day. She wasn't really causing anyone any harm, even though she was so freaking strong. And I really do think that there's something fishy going on. The organization itself seems to be the root of the problem. Something similar to Attack on Titan, where the good guys aren't that good and the bad guys aren't that bad, and the neutral guys are kind of bad as well. So it's kind of like that. And although there are bad awakened ones, I mean, it seems like the ones at the top aren't that horrible, at least as of so far. I haven't yet to read or find out what Izlee's intentions are. Anyhow, that's all I want to say. Like, favorite, comment, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll see you in my next video.